Hello and good morning. Welcome to Vodcast Group 30's take on functions in the real world. Michaela, Sabrina, Masood and myself are going to try and take you on a journey that describe what functions do in applications of real world situations. Now, what's that I hear you ask? What are functions? Functions are everywhere. Wow, look at all those functions. Now, what exactly is a function? A function is a rule that describes how one quantity depends on another. Many real-world situations follow precise rules so they can be modeled by functions. To talk about a function, we need to give it a name. We can use letters such as f, g, h, and so on to represent functions. For example, we can use the letter f to represent a rule as follows. If f is the rule that squares the number. So when we write f2, we mean apply the rule f to the number 2. Applying this rule gives f of 2, which then gives 2 to the power of 2, and relieves us with the answer 4. So to sum that up, a definition of a function is, a function f is a rule that assigns to each element x in set A exactly one element called f of x in a set B.
In everyday life, many applications depend on lots and lots of changing variables. Have you ever thought about how the speed you're travelling in the car on the way to work in the morning depends on the distance you're travelling and the time it has taken? Or what about how much you have to spend at the end of the week from your paycheck depends on the amount of hours you've worked throughout the week? Or what about the time it takes you to cook that delicious steak depends on the weight of the meat in the first place? Distance, time, weight, these are all variables, and the relationship between these variables is a function which can be written as f of x. These functions can serve as mathematical models for a large number of natural relationships between physical qualities. Let's have a look at a function you come in contact with every day a little more closely. When you turn on the tap in the morning, the rate at which it heats up can be seen as a function of time. To understand this better, let's look at the ways that we can define a function.
So basically our group conducted an experiment to monitor the rate of change of the hot water leaving the tap to determine the function of time on temperature. So from our table of values, as you can see, we did an increment of 3-second intervals, and at a point our temperature sort of plateaued at 42 degrees, so we did a span of 0 to 33 seconds, and then at a point it just plateaued.
So by recording our data into visual representation of a graph, we can see starting up at the 0-second mark, their water temperatures starting at about 21 degrees or so. From there we see it rise quite quickly over the course of 6 to 10 seconds, and then from around the 21-second mark it sort of plateaus from there around the 42 degrees. It's helpful to think of the function as a machine. If x is the domain, it goes into the machine, which applies the rule of f, and which leaves the output, which is f of x. So in this case, 2 goes in, applies the rule of x squared, 2 squared, leaving us the output of 4. Thus we can think of the domain as the set of all possible inputs and the range as the set of all possible outputs. Oh, hello. I've been flooded with inquiries as to the results of our experiment. The results are used to support the need for rules and regulations to support our enviable living standards. Because we have a strict education and licensing system and Australian standards that tradespeople adhere to, it's important that we still have inspections carried out on all these installations. Exploring this topic, it enabled us to comment on the social, environmental and ethical implications of a safe delivery of hot water. Socially, we have a responsibility and standard to sustain a healthy and safe society. By ensuring our experiment results comply with Australian Standard 3500, we were able to satisfy that our hot water was delivered to an acceptable level. Environmentally, we discovered Macquarie University has systems that provide hot water in a timely and efficient manner, reducing costs on the environment and the waste of water. Ethically, we believe everyone is entitled to a safe and reliable hot water for their own use. On behalf of Vodcast Group 30, we'd like to thank Macquarie University and Sydney Water. Here's to you.